Today's episode of the Outline Podcast is brought to you by Grammarly. Grammarly is the most amazing spelling and grammar check there is available anywhere, seriously. And I'm speaking to you as a user. I use Grammarly for KevinDeWayne.com for my writing, and it makes me feel way more confident before publishing to the internet. As you're writing, Grammarly will correct your writing, and also you can change it to tailor to what type of writing style you're looking for. So if you're looking for a blog post, if you're looking for more marketing, if you're going for more business or even essays for college or work, whatever, it adjusts it so that you're writing appropriately for what's there. So if you need to change your word usage, if you change your structure, it will offer that suggestion as you write, giving you a far better finished product than ever before. I totally recommend it. You can get Grammarly by going to www.getgrammarly.com/outlinepod. Once again, that's getgrammarly.com/outlinepod. Let's start the show.
Yeah, the outline with Kevin DeWayne, Kevin DeWayne. Yeah, the outline, with Kevin DeWayne. The outline, with Kevin DeWayne. This is the outline with Kevin DeWayne. Kevin DeWayne. With Kevin DeWayne.
What's up, you guys? It's the Outline with Kevin DeWayne. Thank you so much for joining me for another show. I appreciate you all for your patience last week as I was out of the country. Thank you for waiting for me, and also thank you for subscribing and continuing to rate and comment and share with your friends. Got a lot of love for the episode with my best friend Garrick, whose book is now out. Parental Discretion is Advised. It's now available everywhere. I have my copy on my coffee table. I also bought it on Kindle like I promised so I could read it on my way back. It is an amazing read, so make sure you check that out. Great press for the book. He's everywhere, and I'm so proud of him. Also, check out So Much to Say podcast this week. I actually am featured with Craig Stewart. That's his podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. I believe it's on Stitcher, SoundCloud, everywhere. So Much to Say podcast. I'm on there. We're talking about television. We're talking about podcasting and being a creative. It's a great conversation, so please check that out. I'll probably put a link in the message box so you can just click on it and go to it. So this episode is all about Barcelona. I want to give you guys a recap because you guys are my friends. So I'm not doing all the pop culture shit because from what I can tell, not much has changed since I've been back. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and just make this all about Barcelona because there's so much to talk about. But I'm only going to talk about the legal shit though, because Barcelona is many things and it's very different than America. And so, we'll go with the legal stuff. I'm kind of joking. But whatever. So Friday, December 1st, I woke up early in the morning to get my hair cut. And then after getting my hair cut, I was going to head to the airport. Mind you, I packed 2 days before. I was able to fit 10 outfits, 2 pairs of shoes, all my underwear, my socks, my toiletries, condoms, all of that stuff in a carry-on. This is not a game. It's never been a game. I've been doing carry-on only for about 5 years now. I don't like checking bags. I feel like it slows you down. And it's unnecessary, honestly. You don't really have to unless you really are like an entertainer and you need like certain outfits or you need like a whole wardrobe, you really don't need to carry big bags. I don't know why more people don't actually go on YouTube and see how to pack efficiently. You can fit so much into a carry-on size bag and save your money. Now, don't get me wrong. If the airline is offering free checked luggage, okay, different story. However, if you have layovers or if you're on a buddy pass or you just, doing a lot of changes, I still wouldn't recommend taking bags to check. But to each his own, and I don't knock anyone else's hustle. I know everybody has different things going on. And also, there are certain things you can't take on a carry-on. So if you need like, your blades or whatever, your liquids, your lotions, I get it. I completely get it. But for me, I'm about that carry-on life. So I have my carry-on packed and I also had my camera bag. I decided to take my camera because I need to take these photos. I felt like this is like a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. I do plan on traveling more, but who knows when I'll be in Spain again. So I definitely want to get some high-quality photos, and I'm certainly glad I did in hindsight. You can actually, when you're done listening to this podcast or as you're listening to it, go to kevindewayne.com. I have a recap on there with photos from my trip. So I hope you guys enjoy that as well. But it was because I took my camera with me that I was able to get those. Now, I was questioning it before because Barcelona is like the scam capital of Spain. People are known for pickpocketing and stealing there. So it was kind of a fear of mine. But then I thought to myself, okay, listen, I have insurance on my camera, and if that happened, I'd figure it out. But why miss out on the opportunity to take the type of photos I want out of fear, So I ended up just taking my camera, and I'm glad I did. So packed on Friday morning, woke up at like 6 in the morning or earlier, I believe. I was like 5:30 in the morning. Made sure my apartment was all settled because I was going to be gone for about a week. So make sure, all the lights are out, make sure things are unplugged, make sure all the trash has been taken out because I don't want nothing in my house when I get back that doesn't pay rent. So did all that, went and got my haircut. After getting my haircut, I went to my friend Stacy's house where I parked my car in her garage. Thank you, Stacy. Oh, Stacy lives right by the airport, and that was a lifesaver for me because I don't live near the airport. I live in Gwinnett County, and if you know anything about Georgia, you know that's nowhere near the airport. It's about 45 minutes. So I parked my car there, and she offered me a ride to the airport. Her and her son took me to the airport. So I get there, I go through TSA in a breeze. It's pretty quick. I've never been held up in TSA too long, to be honest with you. It's pretty efficient here. So I went through, take the liquids out of the carry-on, and you take your shoes off, take your belt off. And I had on 2 jackets because I had a large jacket, which I'm glad I took because it was cold as fuck in Spain. And I also had a sweatshirt under it. So I had to kind of cart those on and off throughout my trip. So took those off, got to the airport, and then the waiting game began. I was there super early, so my flight wasn't for like 2 hours. My cousin, I talked to her on the way there. I called her because I wanted to pay my rent because it was the 1st. So I tried to pay it on the 31st, but the site wouldn't allow me to do it. It's funny how they don't want you to pay your rent late, but you can't pay it early either. So I called her and said, hey, I may need you to log into my account and pay my rent. Like, my payment information is already there. It's all set up. I need you to just submit it because I don't want to get out of the country and not be able to access the website. And she was like, sure. She's like, I'm actually on my way to the airport too because I'm going to New York for the weekend. And I was like, oh, wow. And we were talking about, she was like, who are you flying with? I'm like, oh, I'm flying United. She was like, me too. So it turns out we were in the same area. So I ended up running into her and our mutual friend Lauren as they were headed to Newark. And I was headed to Newark too because that was my first stop. They left like 30 minutes before I did. So I thought that was so cool. Just the coincidence of it all. So we took a quick picture, which you can actually see on Instagram as well. And it was just like, it was a dope ass moment. Just like, oh damn, that's so cool. So the first flight went by fine. It was 2 hours. It was really no problem. Like, it was quick. So I get to Newark, New Jersey. Now, when I got my boarding pass, I realized they didn't give me one for the rest of my trips. I had 2 stops 3 stops. I went to Newark, New Jersey. Then I went to Ireland. And then from Ireland, I went to Barcelona. So yeah, whatever. So they didn't give me a boarding pass for the remainder of my flights. I was like, okay. So when I got to Newark, I went to the desk and was like, okay, so what do I do now? I need a boarding pass. And so the lady who works for United was like, well, we don't service Aer Lingus, who you're flying with. So you have to go out of security and come back in. I was like, are you serious? Like, one thing about traveling is once you go through security, you only want to do it once. You never, like, it's like a nightmare to think that you have to do it twice. So I'm instantly irritated, but still grateful. In my mind, I'm like, what the fuck? Really? I have to go out? Like, but it made sense why I had like a 2.5 hour time difference. I guess the flight deal knew I would have to do that, so they gave me enough time to do it. So I check myself. I'm like, whatever, let me just do this. So I go outside of security. I find the Aer Lingus desk. I give them my passport. They give me the remainder of my boarding passes for my flight. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she's like, okay, go right through security again. So here's the thing about the security part. I applied for global entry about 2.5 months ago, and my interview is actually today. As I'm recording this podcast, when I'm done, I'm going to go to the airport and finish my interview to get global entry for the future. The interview, you have to schedule it so far out. So I paid the money, but I wasn't approved for it. So I didn't get the pre-check that comes with it, and I didn't get, the express through customs privilege that comes with it, but I will have it later on today, thank God. So I didn't have that. So I was kind of irritated, like, damn, this would be the time that this would come in handy. So I go through security, and I kid you not, I was targeted. So there was one guy there who was doing TSA. So this other guy comes, and he just starts hurling orders at everybody. Like, we need to move this line. This is going too slow. Let's do this. So he starts yelling all this stuff. So I'm like, all right, I've done this once today. Let me get my shit in order. So I start taking off my belt, taking off my shoes, take my toiletries out of my carry-on, and put them in the tray. I'm like, I've done this already. Let me do this. He walks over to me, picks up my tray with the toiletries in it, and puts it up in the air and says, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of what you should not be doing. This guy won't be traveling for long because he doesn't follow directions. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, I don't say this, but I'm just like, I'm confused right now. I just left Atlanta where we had to do this. Like, every airport I've been in, you have to take the toiletries out. So how am I not following directions? He's like, you don't need to take that out. And then he just starts, from that point on, he just zeroes in on me. And he picks on me through the entire time that I'm going through the line. And it's just so fucking annoying. Like, he's making homophobic jokes, not about me because he doesn't know I'm gay, but he's like, all right, you keep acting up, you're going to get searched, and you're not going to like that because it's going to be by somebody of the same sex. And I know that's not going to be fun for you. And he's just fucking with me the entire time. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? So I go through and get through that. And so when I get through the scanner, the guy's like, oh, we have to search you. And I'm like, okay. He's like, do you want to do this here or do you want to do this in a private place? And I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm like, we can do this here. So he starts patting me. He's like, okay, so I'm going to use the back of my hands, I'm like, whatever. So he's like rubbing, between my legs and my ass and shit. I'm like, okay, whatever. This is whatever. But I noticed something while I'm going through. I'm the only black person in this fucking TSA line. So then my anxiety kind of raises a little bit because I'm like, oh, this is really happening right now. Don't get me wrong. I have this full ass, long ass beard and I'm a black man. I get it. It's scary to some people, whatever. But part of me is like, oh shit, I'm literally being targeted in New Jersey. This is some crazy shit. So I'm like, whatever. The search did not last long. It wasn't a huge inconvenience, but it did irritate me because I'm like, oh shit. And I'm headed to Dublin. Not many niggas are going to Dublin, okay? So I walk through. At this point, I'm hungry. So I'm like, I'm going to get some food. I have about an hour before boarding. So I sit down and I kind of recollect myself. Order an expensive ass veggie burger. I paid like $20 for it. I kid you not. And I sat there, collected my thoughts, and was like, listen, I'm on my way out of the country. This is not a big deal. It is what it is. I'll be okay. But looking around, I am very sensitive to the fact that there are no black people in this terminal. Mind you, I'm going to Dublin, Ireland. Don't expect that many black people to be going to Dublin, Ireland. So it is what it is. This is my first international trip, so I am caught off guard by the drug dogs and the cops. There's cops roaming around the terminal with a drug dog, and he's just sniffing everybody. That was a little jarring to me, but I'm like, hey, this must be the lay of the land. We are going across the border. They got to catch people. Whatever. Just go with the flow, Kevin. At this point, I'm like, I just want to get on this fucking flight. I want to get on this flight. So we get on the flight, and I'm very sensitive to race at this point. I noticed, I'm like, shit, I am one of maybe 3 black people on this huge, like this is one of those these huge planes. It has so many people on it. And there's literally 2 or 3 other black people on this flight. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is the whitest shit I've ever seen in my life. But hey, it's international travel. I know it's a luxury. I know it's an experience that not many can afford. I barely went on the trip, so I get it. But I was, like I said, very sensitive because I'm like, okay, I don't want to fuck up and catch a case. Like, I need to just stay to myself. So Aer Lingus. Aer Lingus is actually an amazing airline. I'd never heard of them. And even when I tag them on my social media, people are like, Aer Lingus. And I'm like, yeah, it's an Irish airline. They're actually very spot on. I really enjoyed that flight into Ireland. And even my flight into Barcelona, because it was also through Aer Lingus. It was about 7 hours. It was 6 hours going there and 7 hours coming back. So there was hella food. Oh my God. They were always in my face. Hey, you want a soda? You want a snack? What kind of meal do you want? Here's some candy. Here's like, it was so much food. I was very pleased with the in-flight entertainment. Tons of box office hits. Girls Trip was the only black movie, but hey, it was there. Can't get with the fact that they're edited, but I get it because there's kids on the plane, so they have to edit all the films. But Girls Trip is not a movie you want to watch edited. It just doesn't have the same effect. So whatever, I passed on that. But I watched hella movies. They had music, and I really enjoyed the in-flight entertainment and the food, and the service was really awesome. So I landed in, where did I land? In Ireland at 4:55 a.m. and I had 1 hour to get to my connection. So I went to the restroom as soon as I got there, and I loved this airport. Dublin, Ireland has the best airport I've ever been in, bar none. It's just a beautiful place to be, and the staff is so nice. I've never met airport staff that is as nice as the people in Ireland. People literally sought me out and said, "Hi, can I help you find your connection?" or "Where are you going?" They got my passport, they called me by my name, they showed me where to go, and they were just super nice. Everyone was so nice in that airport, and that made me want to go back to Ireland. I want to go to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, like real talk. But that was a great experience, and it really made me feel better. I feel like Aer Lingus and Ireland made up for how I felt in New Jersey, so my mood changed. So when I got on my connection flight from Ireland to Barcelona, I had the road to myself. I was like, oh, this is perfect. And the flight was only 2.5 hours. So I laid out and I slept for the most part. And when we began to land, that's when I woke up and I got to see the beautiful snow-capped mountains going into Barcelona. And just in that moment, I got really, really excited and I was filled with joy. I was like, man, I'm really out of the country. Now, when I got to Ireland, I had the same feeling like, wow, I'm in Ireland right now. But making it to my final destination really solidified the point that, shit, I'm in another country right now. And it's something that's been on my list for so long. I didn't know it would happen. I didn't know when it would happen. I didn't know when I'd be able to afford it. And I was like, you know what? This is going to be an amazing trip. So I get off the plane. I go straight to customs because I carry on life, no check luggage. I'm telling y'all, customs literally looked at my passport, stamped it, nodded, and I walked off. I'm like, okay. So I got this shuttle that I paid for that would take me to the hotel from the airport. Now it went to the hotel that my friends were staying at. I was staying at an Airbnb that was a 10-minute walk away. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this shuttle because it was mad cheap. It was like $12 like for both ways, whereas anything else like a taxi would have been like $30 each way. So it was mad. I was like, I'm gonna go to the hotel, pretend like I'm going there, and then I'm just gonna walk off and go to my Airbnb. So it took me an hour to get out the airport, you guys, because I was confused. I was reading these signs and I was using my Google Translator, but everyone speaks Catalan there. But a lot of people speak English too, but I think I was kind of intimidated too. So I had to get on this shuttle to take me to the office where I would. Okay, let me back up. There's a free airport shuttle, and that free airport shuttle takes you to the different terminals because the airport is huge. So it's going to take me to the next terminal. So I got on the first free terminal, the first free bus to the second terminal. I got off at the wrong exit and ended up walking back to where I started. So that was my first mistake. So that's like 20-minute mistake right there. So I have to wait for the next shuttle. I get on the shuttle. I ride it all the way around the airport, and I notice it doesn't go where I need it to go. So I asked the guys, I'm like, hey, I need to go to terminal T2B. And they're like, no T2B, no, because they don't speak English. And I'm like, okay. And so they're like, you have to go inside, downstairs. I'm like, okay. So I go inside. At this point, I'm kind of freaking out because I don't want to miss my shuttle. And it's been like 45 minutes at this point. So, and the shuttle said they would wait for me for an hour. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go downstairs and I ended up asking someone. I was like, okay, where is this office? They're like, okay, go over here to this office. They'll tell you where to go. I walked to the office. They said, oh, you need to walk over here. I'm like, oh my God. So they finally lead me downstairs. It's the same shuttle, but it's on a different floor. And that took me to where I needed to be. So I went to the office. The guy's like, oh, hi. He spoke English. I was like, cool. And I've been practicing my Catalan. So I was like, you know what? If I need to, I'll tap into it, but I'm going to ride. I'm going to use my American privilege. Please forgive me. And I'm going to speak as much English as I can because it's just comfort, and you can express things the way you need to, especially in something where you feel like it's hectic and you have a little anxiety. And I started to have anxiety. So he was like, oh, okay, yes, you're good. So he checked my ticket. He was like, the shuttle will be here at 11:15. At this point, it's like 10:45, so I have 30 minutes to kill. He's like, well, it's really cold outside. I suggest you get some coffee and stay here, walk over there 5 minutes before it comes because it's cold. I'm like, well, thank you. I got off the flight at 9:50, so part of me is like, damn, like I burned so much time just trying to get out the airport that it was just crazy. And I know that my Airbnb host was waiting on me, so I sent her a message, say, hey, I got lost in the airport. I'm on my way soon. She was kind enough to let me check in early. I wasn't supposed to check in until 3. She was like, no, don't worry about it. Come in when you get in. The room will be ready for you. I'm like, perfect. So I walk over to the shuttle. And at this point, I put my gloves on because it's cold as fuck. And I'm checking in on Instagram and checking all my stuff and just kind of waiting and chilling. So somebody else came looking for the shuttle and I was talking to them. I take off one of my gloves because I was having a hard time using my phone. I left my glove there. It wasn't until we got on the shuttle and we're driving the city, I realized I was walking around like Michael Jackson with one glove on. I'm like, I don't have my other glove. I'm like, damn it. And I actually enjoyed those gloves. They were perfect. I was like, oh, I like those gloves so much. They were a gift to me. But whatever. So I lost one glove. So part of me is like, please don't let this be an indicator of what this whole trip is going to be like, because I'm not winning right now, but I'm still excited to be here. So driving into the city was just beautiful because Europe is just different. Spain is just different. Barcelona is just different. So it didn't feel like when you travel domestically and you say, oh, we have this in America, oh, we have this, I definitely felt like I was in another country. Just the narrow streets and just the traffic and everything about it, the colors. And I was just mesmerized by being in another country. So I'm talking to the guy next to me. He was from Germany. And everyone was, I had no problem talking to anyone around me. So we were chatting about why they were there. They were going on a 10-day cruise and they were just in Barcelona because that's where it started. So I was talking to them. So we pull up to the hotel. I get out. And at this point, I'm just like, I'm ready to hit the streets. I noticed, just everyone is busy. At this point, it's about noon. So I sent a text message to my host at the Airbnb, letting her know that I was walking down. She was like, okay, well, I had to leave, but my husband is there. He has the key for you and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm walking the streets. I'm staying in the Gothic Quarter, which is kind of like their art district. That's where it's still very old school there. Very narrow streets, very old school, lots of cathedrals, lots of shops, lots of restaurants, a very vibrant place. So I'm walking through and I'm just super excited and I'm using my GPS and everything's working out fine. And I'm just looking around, taking pictures, listening to music, and I'm just super excited. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Barcelona. And I'm walking and literally point 11 from where before I got to my Airbnb, my phone dies. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm literally a few steps away from my Airbnb and my fucking phone dies. So I try to pull out my iPad, which is fully charged, and see if I can get onto my Airbnb and get the address at least, because I'm on the street. It's like I'm not far from it at all. So I pull over to the side because traffic, like foot traffic, is pretty intense. Like people are walking, and in Europe, you have to pay attention to customs. People walk like we drive. Like you either stay to the right side or the left side, depending on what direction you're going. It's very simplistic and I love it. So I'm getting out the way. So my iPad, I can't access the Airbnb because I don't have the internet. And I'm just like, okay. So I plug my portable charger up really quick just to get enough juice to get my phone back going. So I'm not freaking out, but I have anxiety because I know they're waiting on me, and I don't like the idea that people are waiting on me and I'm messing up the flow. So it wasn't even 2 or 3 minutes when my phone came back on. I was able to get the address, and it was literally like 3 steps away. I was in front of it, but I didn't know the number. I knew the street, but I didn't know the number of the building. I was like, fuck. So I find it. I walk in, and then there's like this, it was a cute little spot and this little small elevator that you have to get in. And it took me to they lived on the principal floor. So I get to the principal floor, knock on the door, and then Fran, which is the woman who I rented from, her name is Anna. Her husband is Fran. Super nice guy. He's just like, hi, I don't speak a lot of English, so please bear with me. And I'm like, you sound fine to me. Like, we're good, And so he shows me around. He's like, this is your bathroom. This is your living quarters. It was a beautiful home. And what I loved about it was like 2 apartments in one, because on either side, the bathrooms split the place up. So there's 2 bathrooms next to each other, and it's split. So I had my bathroom, I had my own living room, I had my own bedroom, and then the kitchen was shared. And they were still on the premises while I was there. But what I will say is, you wouldn't even know it. They were so scarce the entire time I was there. If I needed them, I could find them and I could contact them. For the most part, I did not hear them. And here's the thing, they had a baby that was like 6 months old. So I was very impressed by how I didn't even hear them. Like, it was like the perfect setup. So beautiful spot. Definitely felt like Barcelona. Definitely felt like, oh my God, this is so cool. So first thing I do is hop in the shower. I'm like, I need to just clean this flight off of me. I'd been traveling for 24 hours at this point. 24 hours. So it's Saturday morning. Well, Saturday afternoon now. It's noon now. It's afternoon. So I take a shower, go to the room, and I decide to just take a nap. They had this shade there that you can actually draw that makes the room dark. I loved it so much. It was an electric shade. Loved it. I went to sleep for about an hour. And then I woke up, got dressed, and said, I'm going to go venture out. So I did just that. I left the place, and as soon as I walked out, it was almost on the same street as all the shops and stuff. I'm like, it was just the coolest thing. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna walk and get lost around here. I have my charger, I have my phone, I'm good. So I begin walking. The first spot I see is this gelato spot, and it says vegan friendly. I said, oh, really? I got to do it for the culture. Mind you, it's 40 degrees and cold as fuck, but I have to have this gelato because you have vegan options. So I walk in, and I'm talking to the guy. I find one that I like. And this is my first time using Euro, so I was excited. And it was weird because, you'll give people a bill and they'll give you coins back, but these coins can go up to like €2. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. So that's like, like $2 give or take in coin form. So I'm like, okay, so I eat my gelato and I, take pictures of the place and so I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Barcelona. I'm spending money. I'm eating. I'm super excited. So I keep walking and I just get lost on purpose. I get lost in the square, which is called Placa Catalunya. So that's where all the tourist buses are and there's so much shopping. There's so many restaurants. There's so much there. And I'm just so excited because there's so many people and just seeing their versions of their McDonald's and their Burger Kings and their KFC and how different they are and all the different restaurants. And I just get lost in it. I'm just taking pictures and I'm just taking it all in. And I have so much time. It's about 1:30, 2 o'clock now. And my friends like Christina, they're not getting in until later on that night. So I have this whole day to myself, really. So I'm just walking around getting lost. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get something to eat. So I start walking and I go back to the main drag that I was on. So I begin walking and I see this restaurant, La Cuina de la Tania. And I notice they have a vegetable paella. Now, there's no shortage of paella in Barcelona. Everybody has paella. And you learn that. Everybody has paella. Everybody has cava. Everybody has certain things that you're going to see everywhere. But I was like, I saw the vegetable paella and I look in the window. There is this fine ass chef and he looks like he has like an African descent as well. So he's definitely kind of like a mixed kind of guy or whatever. And he nods at me and that's all I needed. I said, nigga, you nodded at me? Okay, cool. I'm eating here. So I walk in because lust led me in and I sit down and the waitress sits me next to the window and it's a beautiful view of the city. And I took a picture of that as well. So hopefully you can go to my Instagram and also the post on KevinDuane.com and see the examples of what I posted. So I sit by the window and I order my food. She brings it out. It's delicious. I'm talking to the people next to me. I noticed that they're speaking English. So I was talking to them and everyone is just super friendly. Now, what I noticed instantly about when you go to restaurants is wait staff leaves you the fuck alone. They're not checking on you like they do in America. And what I found out soon was it's because tipping isn't customary in Europe. They make living wages there, so you don't actually tip there. Now, if they know you're American and they'll ask you like, oh, do you want a tip? But you actually, they don't expect it at all. It's not even a line on your receipt. You get the service you get. And so they leave you alone, which is kind of beautiful because they're not being fake. And then also they're not pushing you out to serve another table. You can actually take your time and be there. I was in that restaurant for about an hour and a half because I was just sitting in the window, talking, eating, using Marco Polo, kept connecting with people in the WhatsApp, seeing where they were. And so I'm eating, enjoying my food. The water, they give you bottled water there, and it's like alkaline water is delicious, and that's what they give you. I've noticed people don't give you fountain water there. I don't think I had fountain water the entire time I was there. It was always bottled, and that was the free water. It wasn't charged to you, and I thought that was interesting too. I was like, wow, this is regal as fuck. So I'm sitting there. And so even when I finish my meal, she's like, oh, do you want a cappuccino or a coffee or something? I'm like, actually, I do. I want an espresso. So she brought me a small little espresso cup. And I enjoyed that moment sitting in that window and eating and it was dope. Staring at that fine ass chef Oh, he was fine as fuck, and he made the fuck out of that paella. I said, listen, if I get this nigga's number, I'm not coming back to the States. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And he just kept nodding at me. I'm like, do you want to fuck? Like, we can do this. We can do this. Activo or passivo. So top is activo and bottom is passivo in Barcelona. Just FYI, whatever. So I'm like, listen, it's all is fair in traveling. I have no problem thotting out here. Hell, I have no problem thotting out in America. It's whatever. So I'm like, whatever. So time passes by and I decide to go to the next spot. By this time, it's about, we're pushing about 4 or 5 o'clock at this point. I killed so much time in that restaurant because it starts to get dark. So I leave. I decide that I'm going to venture out to the gay area. I researched before I got there, and Exemple, I believe it's called. Exemple is kind of like their gay area. That's where all the bars are and where people go, and they call it Gay Exemple. So I walk over. It's about a 24-minute walk. So I'm just, once again, taking in all the sights. It's beautiful at night. Everything is lit up. It's Saturday, so everyone's out. It's absolutely beautiful. So I go to, what bar did I go to first? The first bar I went to was called Punto. Punto, Barcelona. I have a rum and coke there. Then I go to another spot called La Chapelle. Then I went to another spot called Priscilla. Then I went to Plata, which that was a great bar. The bartender there was so nice, and so he and I were chatting. He even gave me a charger to charge my phone. They had them behind they had the portable chargers behind the bar, and they help you. They're like, oh, you want to charge your phone? Sure. So I had this great drink there. I was talking to the guys there. They spoke English as well. So it turns out in Spain, or at least in Barcelona, the tourist areas, they learn English the way we learn Spanish. They learn in high school. And so they know the basics. So I didn't have to really extend myself too much. And I thought that was so awesome. But it was fun using my Spanish and have them kind of critiquing and say, oh, that's good. That's good. And there was one guy who kept wanting to like kiss me on my cheek. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Like, stop, please. But I then learned also that they're very into Black American gay men there. So learned that very quickly. So there was a lot of interest in me and where I was from and how long I was staying, what I was going to do. So I was asking questions about where to go. So they were telling me what clubs to go to. And it was a good time. It was such a good time. So I ended up leaving there and going to another. I was walking back towards the hotel because I knew my friends were coming soon. We were talking via WhatsApp and they were clearing customs and it'll be about another half an hour. So I said, if I walk away now, I can get there in time. So I go back. Then I see this fine ass dude inside of this little information booth, and I think the information booth was about like clubs and bathhouses and saunas and stuff. So I walk in and I'm like, hi, what's this about? He's like, oh, it's for the the saunas and stuff. Sorry. And once again, everyone apologizes for not speaking English. It cracks me up. He's like, sorry, I don't speak really good English, but I'll try. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's cool, I can understand you fine. Do your best, and I'll do my best to use Catalan. It's cool. He's like, oh no, I'm not. He's like, I speak Spanish, don't worry about it. I said, okay. So he was telling me about the clubs and the bathhouses and stuff like that. He's like, okay, so if you're looking to fuck, go here. If you're looking to just party, have a good time, and possibly fuck, go here. If you're not looking to fuck at all and just dance, go here. And I was just cracking up at how forward they were. I'm like, yes, these are my people. It wasn't taboo. It was like, what you looking for, And so we're just chatting. He's like, oh yeah, go to these places. He's like, actually, here's some coupons. If you take this, you can get you can get a free drink here. You can get a free drink here. He's like, and I'm here from 5 to 10 o'clock every day. So if you want to come back and ask me any questions, please do. And part of me is like, do you want to fuck? Because he was fine. His name was Andreas. Whew, shit. He was fine too. And I'm like, so listen, we can skip all the bullshit. I ain't got to go to none of this shit. We can just go ahead and smash right now. But whatever. So I was like, thank you. And so he told me to check out this other place. So I actually ended up taking a little beeline and going to the place he told me to go to before going back to the hotel. So I checked it out for a little bit, had a drink there. By this time, I'm tipsy as fuck. No, I'm actually not drunk. I'm really, really lit. I've had about 4 or 5 drinks at 4 different bars at this point. So I'm feeling really, really good on the streets of Barcelona. So it's about 9 o'clock. Another side note, Barcelona doesn't start eating dinner until 9 o'clock. They don't start eating dinner, like they don't start going out and they don't really, like, dinner time is late there. So we actually had reservations for 9:30 p.m. for dinner, but I think we ended up canceling them because they got in later than they expected. So I walk back to the hotel where all my friends are staying, and I greet them, and we're super excited to see each other. We're checking out the rooms and stuff. We go to the rooftop. Did I drink up there too? No, I didn't drink up there. We go to the rooftop to have drinks, but I'm just there, with my blanket because it's cold as fuck, and we're just having a good time enjoying each other. Then we go into the city. We decide to go get some food at a nearby restaurant. We find this tapas place because tapas are very important, or not very, very prominent there. So I have some potatoes bravas there, and at that point, my phone is dying, and my drunkenness is kind of taking over, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I need to go back to my room. So I was like, hey, you guys, I've been out all day. I know you guys are just getting in. Enjoy your nights. I will see you guys in the morning because we're doing our tourist shit. So I walk back. As I walk back, I notice something different. I'm so socialized to think that, narrow walkways and alleys are dangerous. And so these narrow streets at night, all the shops were closed. It's about midnight now. All the shops are closed. Lights are on, but no one's out. Everyone's asleep. It's like, it's weird. It's different than what it was earlier in the day. So I'm walking these streets, and you can see also on my Instagram and stuff how the streets look. They're very narrow. It looks like walking through an alley, and there's all this graffiti and all this stuff. So part of me feels unsafe, like, oh my God, am I like in the hood or something? But you realize that I found out that this is actually one of the safest areas ever. It's just we're socialized to believe that those are hood areas, but there it just is what it is. So I'm walking the street, my phone dies again, and I don't know where I am. Like, it was telling me that I was close to my spot, but I couldn't see it. So I'm freaking out at this point because I think I have like 1% left, and I'm trying to run to find my Airbnb because I'm like, if my phone dies, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have my charger anymore. I've used my battery. The girls are already out. I guess I will go back to their hotel and just wait. So I'm like kind of freaking out. I'm like, fuck, I can't find my Airbnb. So I'm literally just running these streets back and forth trying to find it before my phone finally dies. And then I see the gelato shop I went to earlier in the day. And I was like, okay, this is on the same street. I turn around and I found my Airbnb. I was so happy. So I go inside. I take a shower. No, I go inside and I just go to bed. I knock out. And that was day one. And then the next day, I was feeling myself. That's when I posted that nude photo of me in the shower because that shower was lit. That was in my Airbnb. It was just too good to pass up on. I had to post it. So that's how you got that. We did a bus tour for Sunday and Monday. So we got to see all the prominent areas. We went to Park Güell. We went to Sagrada Familia, which is an amazing, oh my God, it's so beautiful. It's the cathedral that they spent over 100 years constructing by Antoni Gaudi. Oh my God, the human eye can't even describe. Like, you have to see it for yourself. Like, there's no picture that can really bring it to life. Like how huge it is, the details, the story it tells. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. And it's not even done yet. It won't be done until 2026. It was so beautiful. This man's passion for God, this man's passion for art. And the fact that that's not the only thing he did in Barcelona. Like, he did Park Güell, he did like cathedrals, like he has art all across Barcelona. So it was just phenomenal. So we did that. Me and Christina hit up hella vegan restaurants. Like, there's so many vegan restaurants in Barcelona, and they were so fucking good, so delicious. I had some of the best food ever, some of the best desserts. It was awesome. That night I went out. to the gay area again. Met this guy. He was definitely Spanish. I feel like we were both checking a box. We definitely fucked. Just being honest. He spoke little English. I cracked up. We got the basics out the way. Activo, body mode. He was like S negative, C, E2, C negative, prep. I said, yes, prep. All right. We got that shit out the way. It was interesting. Like, as we're fucking, he's like, you like? You like? I'm like, see? I like, keep going, nigga. Like, it was interesting. Like, I feel like we were both checking a box, though. Like, he wanted to fuck an American black dude. I wanted to fuck a Spaniard. Because when we were done, it was like, gracias, gracias. And we went about our business. And that was that. I don't even remember his name. I don't know if I even got his name. Like, we literally were there to fuck each other. And it just is what it is. It was good, though. You like? The weird thing, though, not weird. Well, no, it was weird for me. He was into armpits. So that kind of caught me off guard. Like, he literally, like, pulled my arm up and just started sniffing and licking and chewing under my armpit. I can't say I hated it, though. Like, it wasn't ticklish like I thought it would be, but it was an interesting kind of sensation. I'm like, okay, this is new. I've done some freaky ass shit, but I have not done anything with the pits. That was interesting to me, and he seemed to really enjoy that. Like, it was a point where he was like smothering his face in my armpits while he was like jacking off. And I was like, okay, I mean, get your life. They say win in Rome, nigga, win in Spain. Win in Spain, you get your armpits licked on and sniffed. It's fine, cool. He got his life. I got my life too. It was interesting. So, we got our nuts. Gracias. All right. Adios. And that was it. We kept it pushing. So I checked that off my list. What else happened while I was there? It was just phenomenal. I had such a great time there. A couple things I noticed. People mind their business there. There's not a TMZ culture there. There's not people don't care what the fuck you're doing. And I wasn't used to that kind of independence there. Police don't patrol there. I saw no police out in the streets driving. I walked those streets probably every night there in the middle of the night, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. There was nothing out but people in taxis. But the rest of the city was kind of just dead. Like, Sundays, everything shuts down and there's no cops out. There's nobody asking questions. It's literally just everyone minds their business. And I was really intrigued by that. And I thought it was amazing. I'm like, see, Europe is just simple. Like, I love it. Like, I loved it. Fanta Lemon or Limon is good as fuck. Oh my God, that shit's so good. The Oreos taste different there because they use real ingredients. It was amazing experience. Like, it was literally life-changing. It's like it was like a walking museum. There was nothing I did not enjoy while I was there. What else happened while I was there? So the final day before leaving, we went to Girona, which was an hour train ride into like actual Spain, and that was amazing. Girona is where they filmed some parts of Game of Thrones. So it was so dope seeing these familiar spots and taking pictures. We met this guy on the train. He was sitting behind us. He was like, are you guys going to the Game of Thrones? We're like, yeah. They're like, well, we were like, we invite him over. We said, come sit with us. You're by yourself. Come sit with us. So we're talking and chatting. I noticed that he has his camera too. We're talking about like, canon and stuff. And there was a lot that we had in common. And so it wasn't until we were out and we were both directing pictures. Christina asked him, she was like, hey, what's your sign? His name was Anthony. He was like, oh, I'm a Pisces. And she looked at me like, I was like, oh shit, me too. I was like, that's crazy as fuck. And I was like, she was like, are you a February Pisces or a March Pisces? He's like, a March Pisces. I was like, oh shit. I was like, what day? He was like, March 9th. I said, are you kidding me right now? I said, that's my birthday. Like, the same day. Like, we had the same birthday. And here's the thing. He was from California. We're both from California, both photographers, both in fucking Barcelona, going on the same train. And so it was one of those dope ass coincidences that were amazing. And he was a really cool dude. We exchanged information. We're Instagram friends now too. And It was dope. So we all kicked it. It was 4 of us. We kicked it that day, and it was a good time recreating photos from Game of Thrones, and it was just dope. And that really kind of really took the trip home. So we took the train back to Barcelona, and then me and Christina went to another vegan restaurant, and that was kind of it for the trip. Like we're gonna go back to the place and pack, and then me and Christina ended up meeting up again that night just to hang out just one last time before we left. So we met like 10 o'clock at night, and then the next morning I left. I took my shuttle back to the airport and went through all of that shit again just to get back here. It wasn't as bad as going back, but I got back home. And Christina, her tour, it was her birthday, so she had a longer thing. She went to Morocco and Paris after that, so she had an extended trip. But I was going back to America. But I had an amazing time. Like, not to be cliche, but it works. It was life changing. It was amazing. It was just, there's a simplicity in Europe that America doesn't have, and we never will have it. We never will have it. I think we've done too much to be violent. We've done too much with our racism. We've done too much with our businesses that we can never have that same simplicity. There's things that are just different over there, and there was a sense of peace there, and there was a sense of well-being there that you don't necessarily feel here. So I definitely look to get to Europe again. I want to go to Amsterdam. I want to go to Madrid. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Barcelona again. I want to go to Ireland. I want to go to a lot of places now. I have the travel bug now, and I look forward to going back. But it was an amazing, amazing experience, and I'm so grateful that I was able to make it happen. I'm so grateful that Christina was able to assist me in that, and it was just a good time hanging out with those ladies that went on the trip. It was like 11 of us, and so many like-minded people, so many forward-thinking people, great conversations, great food. It was so amazing, and I am so grateful for the opportunity. It's my happy place. Now I'm gonna now think of Barcelona when I meditate. I'm now gonna imagine being there. I look at my pictures and I just get excited because it was such a phenomenal trip, and no one could believe it was my first international trip because I did so much solo shit. I was out there hitting them streets, and I was adventurous, and I'm better for it. It was such a good time. So many nice people. I met so many nice people, and it definitely inspired me to work harder. I definitely came back with a different attitude of like, I am going to grind. I'm going to stack more money. I am going to do whatever I can so that I can travel the world even more, because it's such a great experience. So I completely recommend people get out of the country. We get so caught up in being American that we don't realize there's a whole nother world out there that's actually, I feel, doing better than us. And we have our privilege, but it ain't shit when you see how different people live. It was an amazing experience. It was definitely like euphoria, and yeah, I'll never forget it. I will never forget it. I had a great time. So yeah, so check out KevinDwayne.com to see the pictures, and I hope that you go on a trip soon and leave the country. Leave the country. Oh, it was so awesome. I hope I didn't miss anything, but yeah, that's that. I'm gonna get ready to get my interview on for this global entry approval and get my day started. But thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for the comments, the ratings. Please share with your friends, and let me know what you think of the show. Tag me, use the Outline Podcast hashtag. And yeah, that's that. Peace out.